And we are live. We are live.
Good.
Hi. Hi.
Yes.
Yes. Hi,
Hi.
everyone.
Hi. Hi.
Tasneem,
Hi, Siddharth.
Umesh,
What's up?
Amrita.
Hi.
How?
Hello there.
Yes, so excited to be here. Thank you so much for joining in. We are on our Wednesday live stream, and Wednesdays we usually talk about some topic that I'm interested in, and this week it's about dieting. So thank you so much for joining in, all three of you.
Thank you for
Thank you
inviting
for
Pleasure
doing
and
this
thank you.
discussion.
Thank you for having us.
Awesome. Okay, let me just quickly confirm through chat if everything is okay. Let's see. There are a few people here. 22 people already. Dreamcatcher. It's time now. Late OP. Guys, there's no late OP. I think we were perfectly on time. Tell me we are perfectly on time. Wait. Why isn't chat moving? Hi, Sid. All right.
think
There
we
you
are.
go. There you go. Yeah. Lavina. OBS OP. Thank you. Thank you, Lavina. Mahmood. Vairesh. Hey. Dreamcatcher. Okay. All good. Uh, Can you all just start speaking up? Tasneem, hi. Can you just speak up? Let me see if everything is working fine. How are you?
Hi, I'm good. And I'm always that first bencher that the teacher picks on. So you did.
Yeah. So even in OBS, I mean, it didn't happen by design, but yeah. So it's Tasneem, me, Umesh, Amita on that row. So I was actually going clockwise.
Okay.
So
Okay.
tell me about yourself. Okay, I'm going to start with Amita. Amita, tell me about yourself.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. I'm Amrita Gadre. I'm a clinical nutritionist with a holistic nutrition practice. I've been practicing nutrition for 10 years, and my sole aim in life is to simplify nutrition for everyone and to break the food rules and, like say, heal like people using food. So
Wow.
that's what I do.
That's amazing. Amita, where do you have your practice?
So I'm based out of Pune. My office is in Pune, but I have a global practice and I have clients all over the world.
Beautiful. All right. Umesh, welcome. Welcome to this conversation. Tell me about
Hi.
yourself.
Thank you, Siddharth. Thank you so much for having me, first of all.
Yeah.
And thank you, everyone, for joining us. Yeah. Okay, so my name is Dr. Umesh Wadhwani. I didn't want to be a doctor, classic Asian parent story. And I didn't know what I wanted to do, so I left the country and went to the UK. I was there for 10 years. And while I was there, I explored that, okay, fitness and nutrition is something which I can make my career in. And since I started this, I enjoyed doing it. And then I incorporated mental health with it.
Yeah.
And I practice now all three modalities together to better people's lives. And my sole aim is to kind of, educate and empower people so that they can look after their health on their own without relying on other professionals. That's
Yeah.
that's the motto of my life. Yeah.
Yeah. That actually resounds very strongly with me. The idea of diet being such a fundamental part of life, and how we
Hmm.
shouldn't really think of diet as something pathological or something even associated with illness.
Yep.
It's not. It's like
Yep.
saying you
Yep.
should learn to breathe. It's something that is supposed to
Hmm.
come naturally. So that's something
Yes.
that
Yes.
I would like to explore in this conversation with all of you. Tasneem, welcome.
Sure.
Tell me about yourself. Is
Thank
Tasneem frozen?
um
Yes.
no, I'm not.
Now.
Oh
Can you
yes.
all see me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think there was a little bit of a lag, but yeah, you're good to go. Tell me.
Okay, so I'm another dietitian in this stream. And I like to call myself a dietitian who doesn't give diets.
Okay.
So then what do? I talk to you, I listen to you, and I ask you questions, and then magically the change happens. So
Oh,
I think that's what we are going to discuss today. How does psychology and communication help you change and not diet plans? So I
beautiful.
do this for free at Indian Health Project. And along with that, I also work with IIT Bombay on a government project to reduce malnutrition in the country. But we
Very
are
How
cool.
going to
nice.
talk more about the psychology part today and
Yes.
not the children part because we are all adults.
Yes, so that I think deserves its own conversation about malnutrition, children, and also that
Yeah.
even from a psychology perspective, the the effect that the experiences you have as a child growing up, how does that affect your relationship with food?
Yeah, and that actually sets the foundation for how you're going to eat as an adult and
Right.
how you're going to look at food. Like say whether you're going to look
Hmm.
at food as food or it's going to be some guilt or some comfort and so on and so forth. I mean,
Exactly. Because there is all the words you just said. We have
Hmm.
our relationship with food is defined by all those things,
absolutely.
right? So, okay. So tell me this: in your experience, what are the challenges that people usually face when it comes to food, when it comes to this word dieting, when it comes to nutrition? What are the challenges that people usually go through? Umesh.
I think the first and foremost, the biggest challenge is people perceive diet as a negative word,
Yeah.
and I think that is because of our mindset towards the health. Because if we have a problem, we seek medicine, and it's always a temporary. कि बुखार आया दवाई ले लेंगे ठीक हो जाएगा, and they take diet as that,
Yeah.
and it's not. They don't think of it as a lifestyle. They think of it as a medicine. कि मुझे कुछ हुआ है उसके लिए मुझे करना पड़ रहा है, and that's the biggest barrier that I feel. Um,
Yeah.
for me at least, like I find that very challenging.
So, the idea that we feel like it is something to fix, we feel like it's a problem, and that we have to
It's a
approach,
problem.
we have to get someone to fix me. There's something wrong in my brain.
Yes, yes, yes,
Yeah.
in that way.
Yeah. Amrita, is there anything that you've come across that people struggle with again and again?
I think right now we are living in a world where we have too much information. Like say everyone is super aware,
Yeah.
everyone knows all the rules, but don't know how to make sense of it. And I think somewhere along the line, like this whole dieting or being on a diet has become like a badge of honor. Like say, and then people get on and off a diet, which by itself is wrong. It's flawed because diet is not something like Umesh mentioned. It's not like a medicine that you take and you go off, but it's like a way of life. It has to be sustainable. It has to be something that you do as a lifestyle.
Right.
And somewhere along the line, like say because we read so much and there's so much information, everyone talks about calories and proteins and good fat and bad fat and everything, but people have forgotten how to eat food. So, to quote Michael Pollan, we need to start eating food because
Yeah.
we eat food and not nutrients.
Yeah.
So, that is what we need to bring the world back to, that I'm not eating, like, this is something which I tell my clients all the time, that we are not eating carbs and proteins and fat. We are eating food.
Right.
Understand that so that it doesn't become like, oh, now I'm on a diet and today I'm going to cheat. It doesn't have to
Right.
be that way.
Oh, the idea of cheating. Tasneem, how often does this come up, this question that do I have to do this every day?
The diet?
Yeah,
Every day.
No,
That comes every day.
every day.
Sorry, Tasneem.
with me it never comes because I never start with a diet plan. I never give a diet plan at all. So there is no question of cheating or following something.
Okay.
I think the major problem, I think Umesh and Amita have they have summarized it very properly, that this whole concept of diet being a prescription. So like I mentioned before, that the nutrition industry, it is heavily influenced by the doctor patient model,
Yeah.
that you go to the doctor for a problem, the doctor prescribes something, and then there's no follow up. You have to take the medicine, or you are responsible for your own health. So it has the diet industry is also influenced by this, and people always think that, okay, I have to take some diet plan from some expert, and then if I don't follow it, then I am lazy, there is a problem with me, there is some I'm not able to do this. So it should not be a struggle. That's the major guidance that anybody needs, first of all, when whoever is struggling with their fitness.
Wow. This actually, just listening to this makes me feel better, because the fundamental idea of how we fail at a diet, this has come up so many times in conversations with friends, that I tried to diet, I tried to follow a particular schedule, and I failed. So the idea that you failed at a way of eating, again, if you think of it like breathing, when eating and breathing are so essential to life, but you don't fail at breathing. And similarly, you shouldn't fail at eating, but then that is the way that we have, our thoughts have now come about. We are at that stage.
Yeah.
Another thing that I struggle with is there are, for some reason we define things into allowed and not allowed. And somewhere along the way, we have a relationship. Every food piece, you pick it up, you instinctively know, is this allowed or not allowed? So your life is always caught between, I'm following the rules or I'm cheating.
So, if I may add to this, it's actually, unfortunately, right now, the what is the wellness industry? It pretty much like any, like say capitalist economy is like thriving on making people feel miserable about themselves. Okay, so the very fact that you are also mentioning something like whether this is allowed or not allowed. So if I'm eating something which is not allowed, then I am being a bad person, and I'm then that's where the guilt comes in and everything. But instead, if we were to say that no food, like this is what I always say, is like no food is bad. You are, if see, the moment I'm going to say like I'm today is my cheat day, I'm not then I'm allowed to eat as much cake I want to, then the negative connotation, and I'm trying to like say fool myself, where the mind body connect comes in, like I'm trying to fool myself into believing that what I'm doing is allowed today and I'm going to forget it. I'm trying to block it out. Instead, if we were to say that I'm allowed, it's okay for me to eat everything, but I know what each food is going to bring to me, and then I eat it mindfully, or I eat it like in a limited portion,
right.
Or I watch what I'm eating, so that is what needs to be brought forth.
Tasneem, how do you start, if you are thinking of approaching it from a psychology perspective, and when someone comes to you, even though they may come to you with a similar problem, how important is it as to who is coming to you? What kind of person is coming to you? Is that something that plays a role?
No. So initially, when you start in this industry, a lot of dietitians or coaches, whoever, they struggle with people who are different than who they are. So if you are fit, you do your exercise, you eat right, but if somebody who has completely different struggles than your life, you cannot identify with them, and you really struggle. Why is this person not doing this? They feel like that. But then eventually, when you work with a lot of people, different types of people from different geographical locations, different cultures, everything, then you realize, okay, this is the type of food that they like. This is how they communicate. Some people like chatting with memes or jokes or something, and then other people, they prefer a very serious tone while talking. They will prefer that I contact them only once every day or once a week or something like that. And so it's different for everyone. You have to be very good at reading people and listening to them and mirroring them.
So basically guiding them through this journey of understanding their own relationship with food.
And you said, how do I start?
Yes.
So that's the big question. If somebody is coming to me, and the first question is, where is my meal plan? So because that is what is portrayed in everywhere, that you go to a dietitian, obviously the word itself says that you're going to get a diet, and then you're going to follow it. And kanda batate ke jaise, you will be weighed on a machine, right?
I know.
So or raddi jaise. So I put up a post recently that raddi mein to weight zyada hota hai, so it's more valuable. But with people, it's totally opposite, that if you are weighing more, then people are like, oh my God, what's happening? So that's not what I do. So whenever somebody comes to me, I say, meal plan hoga, but let's talk about you first. I want to know more about you. You are not statistics for me. You are not 65 kilos, 5.7 and diabetic. discourage people from labeling themselves as diabetic or hypertensive or all those things.
Right.
I talk about them and I ask them, अभी adults है तो उन्होंने life में कभी ना कभी they must have eaten something good, they must have done some activity, they must have been good in some area in their lives.
Right.
Work में अच्छे होंगे, education में अच्छे होंगे, कहीं ना कहीं तो होंगे. So you have to ask them and pick those bright spots from there and apply it to this area where they are struggling.
And so, okay, so that's a very interesting thought. Because
Really like it.
yeah, right, Umesh. What did you think about that?
Yes, I agree. I love that bit. It's like asking their strengths, that where they feel they are good at,
Yeah.
and using those skills on something which they are lacking at. Amazing, Tasneem. Loved it.
It's a
Never
really
thought of
nice
it
thing
that.
because we've all been successful at something, but somehow we feel that food is different from, say, my work. So if I'm a very good doctor, I don't think of my relationship with food in the same way I think of my relationship with the hospital or the patient. So I would be very logical when it comes to a patient, but when it comes to food, I might not be. It's almost like we exist in parallel universes. It's a different personality altogether.
Like you said, that the focus is always on failures, right? Whenever you go to an expert, they will always focus, ये गलत कर रहे हो, ये गलत कर रहे हो, ये गलत कर रहे हो. So that should not happen. They must, everyone should focus on the things that you can do right and then build up on it, so that all the other things fall into place. I always say, don't subtract food from your diet, or don't say ये नहीं खाना है, don't do this. Instead, add things so that अपने आप the things that you don't want to eat, they'll be reduced. ऐसा होगा.
Wonderful.
And, like say every person who comes to us at some point or the other, with the very fact that they have come to us, or even if they haven't come to us, everyone is conscious of their own health. Okay.
Yeah.
So at their level, they are trying to do something or the other. Even if it is something like, say, I am now going to get my own cook and घर का खाना भले ही तेल वाला बनाती हो,
Yeah.
but that by itself for me, it's like I'm going to be like fabulous.
Yeah.
At least you're eating घर का खाना, or at least you're, even if बाहर का है, hospital में canteen में खा रहे हो, फिर भी you are eating on time.
Yeah.
Fabulous, So I think reinforcing a positive or what is actually a good habit, and you rebuild that up, and then you slowly work on what I'll say a little bit of a weaknesses, or what we also call them opportunities. Like say there is an opportunity for improvement on some or the other level, and you work on that, and that's how you take them towards the process. So like completely echoing Tasneem's thought, even when someone comes to me, they're like, "Acha, abhi kitne calorie ka diet hai?" I'm like, that is not your lookout. I'm not even like, that's something which I know as a nutritionist, but even then you can't be like, your body is not some machine that everything, like that same roti is going to be, giving you different calories day in, day out. Subah alag, sham ko alag. So you can't be like, bhaji ka weighing thing and, like say doing that,
They would, they would totally come with a transactional thought in their minds that I'm here, now give me a solution. And if you say that, oh, you have to work on your personality, they might feel that this is not what I signed up for. But that shows a lack of understanding of how food works.
Yeah, but then like you have to explain to them. Like I categorically tell people not to stand in the weighing scale every day, because you do weigh different. Like you're going to be weighing different subah and sham. मेरा mood खराब है तो मेरा वजन बढ़ने वाला है, because my body is going to retain water. As simple as. Right? So then if I
out at what point of the day they weigh the least, and so they will always weigh themselves.
People even remove their watches and things like that, like rings or something. Uska work 5 gram वजन ना आ जाए. So I mean, it's a crazy world.
Yeah. Umesh, how? Yeah, tell me.
Yeah, if I may ask something, like, how does the brain work? How does the neuroscience work in this way? Like, why do people get fixated on the scales and the numbers and the transactional way of approach? Why do you think?
So the first thing I feel is that it gives them a sense of control. So the worst thing about diet is that it is at once something so primitive. And anything that is too primitive, it's a challenge.
Okay.
right? The same thing in emotions like love. It's coming from a place that is so primitive, and we have added all these modern age connotations to it that we have to deal with. It's almost like you're dealing with it across the spectrum, something that is very primitive, and you have to deal with modern age concepts. So diet is the other one, where you want to eat, and all parts of your brain are telling you different things. So your most primitive parts of your brain is just telling you to pick up whatever is there in front of you, take high calorie stuff, and the more evolved parts of your brain, whatever is actually the most evolved part of the brain, will just follow the latest fad, because that's supposed to be the latest information. And chat is full of questions on that, by the way. So we need to get to that at some point. I wanted to ask you one line at least on what is your opinion on the different kinds of diets that are going around.
Sure.
Yeah. Oh wait, I was going to ask you something. When you said weighing, how common is calorie counting amongst your clients? Is it something you advise? Is it something you don't advise?
I don't advise it to anyone at all.
It is very common. It is very common, and it is my first year in India as a practicing nutritionist, and this was one of the another challenges which I found it really difficult to deal with, because everyone is like, kitni calories ka plan hai, and दूसरा with the follow up question is, how much do you guarantee that I will lose? मैंने बोला it doesn't work that way. मुझे नहीं पता, मैं तो आपको बता के छूट जाऊंगा. It's up to you how much. And I don't know, like this. That's what.
Guarantee, 20 kg in 3 months.
20 kg in 3 months,
that's the base that people want to lose.
And they want it on a 100 rupee stamp paper, signed, stamped.
मतलब guarantee.
It's not their fault, right? That's what they see everywhere.
That's what
the ads are.
That's what the ads are.
So they don't know that there is another way. So that's our job, to help them.
To educate them,
True. And also to educate them that they are going to be worse off doing that, than better off in terms of, say,
there are so many apps.
Getting those habits.
There are so many apps that make it so easy to count calories that it's almost, that is another guilt trip altogether. Because now you feel that this information is so easily available. I should know. So I know people who have by-hearted the calories of every single food item. Like people going for prices right, people, the way they memorize costs of things, they can go to a grocery store and just go on counting. Okay, ye 100 calorie ka, ye 500 calorie ka, ye this. And when they eat, it almost feels like they're eating numbers. They're not eating
I wish
food.
I had that superpower, remembering all those calories.
But they're eating, and once somebody saw me eating, I'm not proud of it. But so Nutella.
Okay. Why are you not proud of it, by the way?
Why the guilt?
Interesting. Why am I not proud of it? So before I go on, how many people in the chat are fans of Nutella? I just want to know. Okay, people will respond.
Two fans here.
Oh, 2 hands right here. Okay, excellent. So Nutella is awesome.
Yes, it is.
This is not sponsored by Nutella, by the way, but it's just coming from a place of cheerfulness and a lot of me's. All right. So a friend of mine actually saw me once. We had dinner and everything, and then there was nothing for dessert that day. And like, okay, let's just have a spoon. It's like, what's the harm? Let's just have a spoon. And the reaction was like, do you know how many calories there is in 1 spoon of Nutella?
I would be more worried about the sugar and palm oil than the calories, to be honest. But
why would someone do that? Can't you enjoy what you're enjoying?
Absolutely.
I felt so bad. I had to wait for them to leave before I had it.
And then finish the jar. out of I'm feeling so miserable, let me finish the whole jar
So this
instead
is
of
a
one
major problem
spoonful.
with many people, because whenever somebody tries to change, their family or friends don't recognize that person anymore.
Right.
It works in the other part also, when somebody is trying to get healthy. So if somebody was eating lots of junk food with their friends or family, and suddenly they say, no, today I do not want to eat it because I want to be healthier or fitter, then अरे यार खा लेना एक
हाँ.
एक
piece.
एक बार
क्या
बटर
होता है?
चिकन खाने से मोटी नहीं हो
हाँ,
जाएगी.
so they try to sabotage your efforts.
Yeah.
So that's another very important part where they need guidance to support, to have that much of confidence, and what they should know what to say when people do that.
That is so true. It's almost as if I've seen it even in academic circles. If you're say 1 month away from your final exams,
Okay.
and 3 or 4 people are thinking of going for a movie, and one guy's like, "No, I want to study." अरे क्या छोड़ यार. Why study? It's almost as if there is a undercurrent of competition happening, and you don't want somebody to do something very good if you are not doing it, and you know that you can't do it at the moment. It's easier to get someone else to
Not do
It's
it.
also that they do not recognize this new person. So you know this person as somebody who is a person who enjoys things, or who doesn't care about exams or dieting or healthy food or exercise, and then suddenly अब इसके साथ मैं क्या करूँ? Like this person, I do not know how to be around this person anymore.
Right.
So वो एक insecurity होती है.
Right. So I'm remembering that scene from 3 Idiots where दोस्त फेल हो गया तो दुख होता है, but दोस्त फर्स्ट आता है तो
First, और ज़्यादा दुख होता है. That's, yeah. But then, like, as a say a healthy eating approach, or as an advice, like I always tell people, like say that whatever, like be with people as in whatever habit you aspire to. Like say
Right.
if you've read James Clear, he also mentions this, like in Atomic Habits,
Atomic Habits, yeah.
that like say if you're trying to build a certain habit, it makes more sense to be with the
Surround
kind of people, surround the yourself with people with like whichever habit you aspire to, so then it becomes easier. So that's why in my practice also we have we formulate buddies, or we have groups, so that you are like even if you have everyone's facing the same kind of difficulty, same kind of challenges, and then you have someone who's like a group which is taking you together. So I feel that also helps a lot when trying to be about wanting to be healthy. And coming back to the Nutella, I think everyone, you want to like say is the whole thing, like I want to eat Nutella right now, I'm going to eat it, I'm going to enjoy it,
Yeah.
and I'm not going to forget it the next time I want to go back to it, that I ate it yesterday. That works better than being like Nutella is banned.
What you said about buddies,
Yes.
it's actually very interesting, because dieting can be a very lonely thing.
It can
Absolutely. And most diets, if you look at it, like say if you are, for example, because you also mentioned the the latest diets and everything. So people are on keto and
Yeah.
gluten free and so on and so forth. Now, what happens is they actually make you like isolate you from what everyone else is eating. So then, which means that if I'm on a keto diet, then I probably will not be able to hang out with my friends, or I will always have very special meal requirements. And then that also becomes like either I'm going to be like, I am doing this and I'm proud of it, and like say I don't care, but still I'm isolated in my mind. Or I'm going to be like, okay, if I'm on a diet, I'm not going to go and meet them at all, because then again the whole judgment and people trying to pull you down and everything comes with it, right? So that's why like the buddy thing also works well. And if you're like doing it in a group,
Yeah.
and you have people together. And one of the reasons why, like, I'm sure Tasneem and Umesh and we all tell people, like, you don't want to go on a diet, see what works for you, like say. And don't follow something just because it's the latest rage. because what worked for them, you are different. You are not.
Yeah.
You know, whichever celebrity is following the maple syrup diet, you are not
Wait,
that.
what?
You are you.
Is there a
Oh
maple
yeah.
syrup diet?
Oh, there are all kinds of diets.
Wow. Okay.
One diet every day
So
comes up.
with
Siddharth
this,
just got excited.
Yeah.
It's like
I can do that. I can get behind that. Yeah, Tasneem.
so you wanted to talk about why people can't follow diet plans.
Yes. Yes.
So let's talk about 3 scenarios, okay?
Mhm.
First, the person follows the diet plan for a long time, which Amita has covered,
Yeah.
that their whole life is about it and it's very unhealthy.
Yeah.
Second is if they follow a diet plan for short term and it sucks, they don't like it. So then what happens? They develop a very unhealthy relationship with food and everything. They think that being healthy is a struggle and I don't want to go through that again and again.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna live my life, however, and I don't want to
Hmm.
go back to this.
Dekha
So that's the
jayega.
second scenario.
Hmm.
Third is they don't follow the diet at all. So
Yeah,
why
all or
does this
nothing,
happen?
yeah.
There are a lot of reasons for this. Firstly, life happens, right? So you
That's the
one
best
day you are so
explanation.
excited and you go to this dietitian and you say, "हाँ मुझे सबसे strict diet plan दे दो आज." Then you are so motivated. Okay, आज मैं weighing scale पे चढ़ूंगा and आज मैं देखूंगा. And this happens, and then the next day something happens. Maybe your kids are around or a guest suddenly appears out of nowhere and
Or it's a
maybe your
Tuesday
friends
evening.
plan. Yeah, it's a Tuesday and you don't feel like eating that food. उल्टी आ रही है यार उसको देख के. So then it's not gonna happen. And even if you do it for a week or so, and then you're like, नहीं आज तो दिवाली है, तो I'm not going to, because that plan doesn't accommodate all these things. Your life is constantly changing, your appetite is constantly changing, your moods are constantly changing. So it's never gonna accommodate everything. So you need to learn the skills that you need to eat healthy and not a set plan. क्योंकि वो रोबोट जैसे हो गया कि मुझे यही खाना है यही समय पे यही quantity में. Instead you have a brain. So when babies are born, when we are born, we have that instinctive behavior.
Right.
सबसे पहले क्या करता है baby? They do breast crawl, right? They search for the mother's breast and they drink out of it. Nobody teaches them how to do it, but they do it. And then उसके बाद भी whenever the baby is hungry, you remember when you were a little kid, your mother must have told you that you used to cry out loud, and then जब तक खाना नहीं मिलेगा तब तक चुप नहीं. And then even after that, if they were feeding you even one extra spoon of food,
You would stop.
yeah, you would stop or you would just vomit it
Yeah.
out. You don't want it because you are so aware of your appetite signals, hunger and fullness signals. Now we are not. So that's why we struggle. We want others to tell us what to eat or what not to eat, how much to eat.
I love that. I
Yeah,
love what you
because-
said about.
You know, there's a
children.
gut-brain axis, right? You must have
Yeah.
studied.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it's. I mean, that is a whole other discussion. The whole gut brain axis. What you just said about children knowing when to stop, that really hit me. Because it's like you're born with that knowledge, you're born with that self control, and somehow along the way you lose it. And I never thought about it that way. That's a very, very lovely way of putting it.
I
But
mean,
Tasneem, if I may ask, like, do you try to identify what are the reasons with an individual? Why did that signal stop, or why do not they get signals for appetite or satiety for that matter? Do you try to identify that?
no, because then that would focus on the things that are not desirable. Instead, I ask them to be aware of their eating patterns and how they eat. So for the first thing that we start with almost everyone is that you don't do anything, you don't follow anything, you just observe yourself. You be a scientist, you observe how you eat, when you eat, with whom do you eat, and how much do you eat. Do you eat till you feel stuffed or do you eat till you feel light and active? So all these things we observe for a few days, and then they themselves, I don't tell them anything. They realize that, oh, I have been eating so much. I did not want to eat that, but then this happened. This person was eating, or somebody served me, dinner time ho gaya hai, so I was not hungry, but I ate it. Or
Right.
I saw this
Eating
ad, or
habits.
Swiggy popped up on my phone and gave me this, oh, you cannot resist these momos or something like that. So I had to order them. So
Yeah.
all these things happen. So they just have to observe.
It's
And
Awesome.
just to
yeah.
answer Umesh your question, like one of the
Yep.
techniques that I use, like what Tasneem is stating, is
Hmm.
basically the journey from mindless eating to mindful eating.
Yeah.
So the moment, like it's not just little babies, but we ourselves are also aware of, we like when we are getting full or when we are hungry, that does happen to us. But then because we are, the way we eat, we are watching Netflix and then we are eating, or we are in, scrolling through our Instagram feed and eating, or just, eating while working or like walking around. So that's where you just completely lose that connection between, what your brain is telling you, that you're full and where to stop. So everyone knows when they have overeaten. Everyone reaches that zone of, like say, oh my god, I've eaten too much.
Yeah.
Yeah, that happens, right? Which means that we have not, like, that sensation, or that like say clue has not gone.
Yeah.
When you can identify that you are hungry, we all know that we are hungry. What happens? Your tummy is rumbling, you're not able to focus, you get like probably irritated. That's hunger. Everyone knows hunger. Everyone also knows, like, when you're overeaten, but they are not able to stop in at that point where, they are just full. And that's what mindful eating is.
Lovely. That's such a. It's like we have lost the ability to pick up on that
The
sense
cue,
of
yeah,
now is the
certainty.
time I should stop,
Yes.
and we have
But
somehow normalized going
Hmm.
past it, just eating past it.
Yes.
Yeah. Tell me,
But
Umesh.
Because
but do you think there are certain types of foods which kind of makes you miss that point?
Yeah, obviously, like say if
Yeah.
you look at all the processed foods, they are designed to make you
To do
miss
that.
that
Yeah.
point, right?
Yeah.
But then that's how they are engineered to make you want to miss out your, like say, like so the satiety signals, or make you want to crave more. Like that's how they are designed. But I like right now, I think we all are pretty much on a page where we are saying like, yes, highly processed foods are not something for anyone,
Hmm.
but this happens, like excessive eating happens even with normal roti sabzi. It doesn't always have to be a Lay's. No one can eat just
Yes.
one.
Yes.
Yeah,
That's true.
Yeah.
so
it
here,
happens with roti sabzi too. Yeah.
Sid, you always talk about evolution, right?
Yeah.
So here, what Amita just said, that certain foods are engineered
Yeah.
for your cravings. So I think from a point of evolution, they so humans used to search for foods that are
Yeah.
calorie dense or that will keep them
Going for a
uh,
longer time.
going for a long time.
Yeah.
So then, so basically something which is very heavy, but heavy in calories or nutrients, but not very. You don't feel stuffed after eating it. So like vegetables, you feel stuffed after eating a
Yeah.
light course of lots of vegetables,
Yeah.
but then you don't feel very satisfied after eating a full bag of chips also.
Hmm.
So that's how they are manufactured,
Yeah.
and
They-
they play with your brain.
Yeah.
And
And
also
somebody
that
had
emotional
mentioned.
eating bit, yeah.
Pardon. What?
Like, emotional eating
Yeah.
is also a big thing. Like so people, to some people, like you find, say for example, taking the again the Nutella example or ice cream, so I think it's very important for us to identify as in, why are we eating? Are we really hungry?
Yeah.
If we are hungry, then we eat. If we are just like, okay, it's dinner o'clock, then we eat, that's different, right?
Yeah.
If I'm just say that whole Netflix and binge becomes like binging on food as well, and that's like the done thing now. And why, like say, why is that food feeling comforting to me is another question that arises out of that. So there's different reasons why people eat the way they eat.
I love that we are talking about this, and there are people in the chat just talking about how they are watching this and eating different things. So people are eating Maggie, they're eating pizza, they're eating. Somebody is
Yeah.
thinking of eating pizza.
Exactly. And see that Maggie again, if they had been eating while they were not watching us, they would have probably stopped at a small packet, you
Right.
know? So that's how it goes.
Uh, you said emotional eating.
Yeah.
Uh, in your practice,
Hmm.
it almost sounds as if all of you have to deal with patients' emotions to quite an extent,
Hmm.
Yes.
Hmm.
Yes.
right? Is
Yes.
is that a challenge? How often does that come up where you are actually having to deal with somebody who is emotional about food?
I think
Almost
everyone is emotional about
every.
food.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
Yep.
yeah, it is. And you have like say positive and negative emotions associated with food. So the first thing that I have to do as a nutritionist or in my practice, what I do is like I literally tell people that there is no notion of a cheat day. And if like you are say if you people are like, no, I have to have that tub of ice cream.
Hmm.
So they were like, okay, fine, have that tub of ice cream, but figure out whether you're truly hungry. Why are you eating it?
Hmm.
So did eating that tub of ice cream really address the misery that you had?
Hmm.
Did it make you truly feel better?
Hmm.
And it doesn't.
Yeah.
You're going through a breakup, life sucks, and it doesn't
So,
bring your boyfriend or girlfriend back to
oh
you.
no,
Right?
it's
It doesn't.
unfair. It's
I
unfair
know.
that ice cream has got this bad rep that you have to have a
But that's what
breakup.
they show in all the movies and all
That's a
the shows, that if you have a breakup, you have to have ice cream.
Ice
that
cream.
pint of
Yeah.
ice cream.
That's how
People.
the
And so,
connection happens.
yeah, or even like say movies. Why can you not watch a movie without that caramel and cheese popcorn?
Because
Yeah.
you see Netflix logo or
Yeah,
the
exactly. So
they show
you're
that's a
being,
pop
Oh yeah, they have a popcorn
yeah.
next to it.
popcorn
Popcorn.
on the
So yeah.
couch.
God damn. Okay.
So
Sab mila hua hai.
emotional.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Obviously, because it's an industry, right? They are going to make you eat,
Yeah. So
right?
in
They
Or
have to
there's one
sell.
more thing that that relates foods to your emotions. So take a break, have a
Kit Kat.
or something like that.
oh
So that
yeah.
your identity and that food is related. So you think, oh, I deserve this. Now I'm gonna have this, and it will help me feel better, or it will help me. So dar ke aage jeet hai.
You know
Hmm.
So
what?
something like that.
Everything.
You know
Yeah,
the
yeah.
problem is
Hmm.
that there are no PR. There's no PR industry for the cucumbers or carrots. Somebody
So
needs to make advertisements for
no.
for
So
vegetables.
I'm so glad you brought that up because this as all of these years, ever since I've like say been studying and practicing, okay, everyone always, I'm sure even these two like Tasneem and Umesh face this,
Yep.
question as in what is healthy food. So my simple answer to that is whatever is not advertised is healthy.
Huh. Yeah, why is
जिसका
that?
भी ad नहीं आता है वो healthy because that roti
पैसा
is
कहाँ से
not
Yeah.
रोटी का ad कौन करने वाला है?
Yeah, but that's the problem now. I think we have to reverse engineer. We have to play, like we have to take advantage of everything that social media has done and sort of use it to our good.
Yeah. So I promote yams. They are the perfect anti-aging, vegetable to be eating.
Yeah, like
So
make carrots cool again. We have to have some sort
yeah,
of tagline and make
that's
it
what
happen.
WHO has been
So
trying since 20 years.
there is this interesting study in the US. So they look at all the states where people are healthy without any extra effort or without because their environment is such. They have footpaths where they can walk. They have more healthy food stores than say
Yeah.
McDonald's or junk food stores. So Portland or I think some other cities also, they had found that 80% of people, they were healthy because they enjoyed doing those things.
Right.
And in India, if you want to walk, I have
They do.
been myself hit and run by a vehicle twice. So, so if you want to do that,
Yeah.
then it's very difficult. It's a struggle. People ask me, I want to be active, but I don't have any place to run or walk or do
That's true.
anything.
No,
So
I
it's
mean,
very difficult.
in Bombay, you run because dogs chase you sometimes. And that's pretty awesome. And for me, the workout was getting into a Virar local.
I can understand.
Absolutely.
So yeah, that was a pretty good workout. So if you catch a
Or,
Virar
or
local at
trying to
night,
get your way out of it,
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Boldly.
you spend 1 hour in that train and all your muscles get worked out, and
That is stress. That's not workout.
Well, all right.
You need workout to get over that stress. You
Okay.
need to
Seriously,
strengthen
it was
yourself.
that easy.
Hang on,
Yeah.
Boni, so thank you for the super chat. Is it possible to lose weight with only intermediate fasting or having bit diet food or pet or क्या
पेट बाहर आ गया
बाहर
है.
आ गया है
पेट बाहर आ
while
गया.
work from home एक जगह बैठ गए. Is it possible to maintain that also with fasting? Wow, okay.
वो जिस जगह बैठे हैं ना वहाँ पे पुशअप स्क्वाट लंजेस शुरू कर दे to begin with.
But Siddharth,
Yeah.
this is the tail end to everything.
Yeah.
तुम कितने भी workshops कर लो, कितना भी plan दे दो, the question comes at the end, how do I lose my belly fat?
Yeah.
With double O, and it's just endless, and I don't know how to answer that.
No, I mean there has to be some way, right? Because it's such a two-pronged problem.
Huh.
One, we've been told that having even a little bit of belly fat is a problem and you have to get rid of that. That is also advertising.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
second, we have been sold that the solution is one of these diets. So from
But
both
that-
ways, your
But then
thinking
there
is...
is this, sorry to interrupt, but then there is this third thing, which is the body positivity thing. So that is again confusing a lot of people that what should we go for. A lot of people are using the hashtag body positivity to just hide away their weaknesses and the symptoms of obesity and stuff. So it's a tricky situation.
Yeah.
No, but then Umesh, you can be like, even if you want to be healthy, I feel it has to come from you. Like say someone else telling you that you need to lose weight, even if it is your doctor. Sorry, said that, but even if it is your doctor, it's not going to, like say work till the time I am, really feeling like even I don't want to probably lose my belly fat, but today I'm getting more tired than, I used to be, like say last year. I'm not that energetic. I am, like say sluggish. I'm not able to be as productive. All of these are also indicators of health. And I think as health professionals, we really need to put that message out and tell people that, like say, it's not just about losing weight. It's not just about that six-pack ab, because that also comes at a really high price, emotional, physical, life price that you pay to get those six-pack abs. And Siddharth, to answer your question of, how to lose that belly fat and like that is going to take so long and everything, I always tell people that it's not like yesterday you had six-pack abs and today you have a belly. It has not happened overnight. So think of the last time when you had, where your waist size was what you want it to be. So if it's taken you say at least 10 years to get to where you are, usko kam karte at least 1 saal to lagega.
Yeah, absolutely. The kind of mindfulness that you're talking about within a meal, you obviously want that mindfulness over years also.
Yeah,
Because
it's a
it
way of
doesn't
life.
happen.
Yeah.
Tasneem, I wanted to ask you this, since we were talking about psychology. When somebody comes to you and you've managed to get through them and they found a way to change their lives, how often do they relapse or come with a crisis, sort of a diet crisis, that it's completely gone off track and for the last 2 months I have not been doing anything? Is that something that happens?
No, it never happens because there is no track. So they they decide. So I am a very I don't make decisions for my clients. So I just ask them questions. So something called a Socrates method of, so I don't know how to pronounce it, but it's, that's a method of questioning or motivational interviewing. There's another method of questioning where you just keep questioning your client and listen to them, and then they come up with some change talk that they are ready to start doing in their lives at their current comfort level and everything. And then you just support them. You just ask them, give them accountability that, okay, you decided that you wanted to do this. You were going to do this in this particular manner for these many days. So how is it going? And if there is some struggle at some point, so you come up with some jugaad that ऐसे करना है, वैसे करना है, and they come up with it themselves. Everyone knows, everyone is smart, everyone knows their lives very well. I don't know anything about them. They know a lot about their lifestyle. I'm just a new person, a guide who is. So look at it this way. So you go to a new region, or you come back to Mumbai after a long time. Maybe you were always living in Mumbai, but you come back to Mumbai after a long time. You know everything about Mumbai, but because you are coming there after a long time, you may have forgotten some things, or you may have you may remember things different than they are now.
Alley somewhere, some
So
road.
you hire a guide, and that guide will take you around and will show you, ye bhi tha, ye bhi tha, do you remember this, aisa tha, this was so good, this was so that's my job. I'll just ask them, okay, where do you remember this, or do you can you do this, or they will come up with suggestions, and I'll just help them do them. It's not something I never tell people. I never give them instructions ki ye karna hai, ye nahi kiya to see, I'll be very upset. Say that's not gonna happen. So I'm just a cheerleader. Yes, go.
So
Come on.
cool, man. I like how there are so many different ways of getting there.
Yes.
You know,
Always.
Yes. I mean,
Like
I'm
if I
sure-
was
yeah.
if I was to just add to it, like I do the similar thing, but in a slightly different way, because I feel not a lot of us just been to that city. So if Mumbai, if in that analogy, if Mumbai was the healthy city that not a lot of us have been to that city. Like a lot of
No,
us
Mumbai
are.
was your own life in that example.
But
You had
okay.
lived that life.
Yeah, you have lived
Yeah.
that, but I thought of it as I use that analogy for being in a healthy space or a relatively healthy space. If that was that space, not a lot of our clients have been to that healthy space, because since childhood we haven't been taught nutrition in a like what we should be eating. Okay, so we have been eating haphazardly, whatever we have been told by our parents or whatever we are seeing on the advertisements and stuff.
Right.
So what I do is I try to educate them in a way that let's go around the city. Ye hai, ye wo hai. I tell them, I clear their why. Why do you want to do that, and why you are in the space where you are. As Amrita was rightly said, कि कोई overnight overweight नहीं हुआ है. So I try to explain them कि क्यों तुम्हारा ये वजन बढ़ा है, and now you logically think कि वजन घटाने के लिए तुम्हें क्या करना पड़ेगा, and then they do it by themselves. And yeah, I completely agree with Tasneem on that.
I mean,
It's almost like you cannot something this basic cannot be a step-by-step program.
No,
it has to come from you.
Yeah.
And a dietitian's role is to ensure it comes from you.
Yeah.
If it comes from the dietitian, it's not going to stay. It's not going to last.
The first sentence that I learned in my college for bachelor's in dietetics was that your role is to make a client independent.
Yeah,
So when
absolutely.
a client doesn't want to come to you, that's when you're successful.
Ooh,
Absolutely,
nice.
Yeah.
absolutely, and that's what I think we all keep on striving, that
Technically
that
this
no
is
one
true
should
for all
actually
doctors.
have to come back here. Yes, like they shouldn't have to come back to you again and again, because then if that keeps on happening, come back to you or to go to anyone else, then you have failed at your job. You have not explained their nutrition to them, and like the notion and the idea basic should be that they understand their own nutrition, and then they are able to manage it for life on their own. So that is how it should go ideally. And like say, so you're saying something?
No, continue. Please finish your thought.
Yeah, and just to I wanted to add on to Umesh's some line. But
the idea that some people do need a little bit more of a guidance, a little bit more of clear-cut answers as to why they should or should not do something.
Yeah, and you teach them, it's literally like you are teaching them how to ride a cycle. So at first you have to hold them, and then there comes a point where you just let them go and take it ahead. Even if they do fall, they will learn to get back up on the saddle and just ride.
I love
So
that
that's how it should be.
Yeah. Like Tasneem said, that everyone knows everything now, and at least from a medical perspective, sometimes that's a great thing, sometimes that's not. because
No, I said they know things about their own life and their own body. They don't know the science, but they don't need to know the science for such a basic thing as eating and moving, sleeping. These are very basic things. These are not medical conditions
Yeah.
that they need to know the drug interactions or anything else. They
Right.
know about their body. They know मेरा बच्चा कब सोता है और मेरा पति कब आता है और all those things. So, or when I go out with my friends or all those things, they know how they react to situations, how they how their relationship with their food is. So it's not something that they need to go through a science route. They can just understand their behaviors, their whys, their reasons, and then work on it.
Right.
It's as simple as that. Being a doctor-patient thing is very different. They don't know anything about
Yeah.
medical science, or they have misinformation thanks to Google. But
Yeah. Unfortunately, because diet has also been pushed towards that space,
Yeah.
people now Google diets like they Google
Probably more than the
heart
metformin.
attack or headaches. And just like headache, anyone who Googles headache comes to the doctor saying ये तो brain cancer ही होगा,
Yeah, yeah.
because that's what Google tells you.
Anything you Google leads you to cancer anyway.
Right.
So.
And similarly, the first thing now we would do when you have trouble in losing weight or dieting is you would Google it. And the first thing that comes up is 15 types of diet that you can follow. And it's on the one hand, you're spoiled for choice. You think that there are so many ways I could be doing this and still I'm failing. How horrible is that? But this conversation doesn't happen. The conversation that we are just having right now, this conversation doesn't happen on the internet. How do you deal with that? People coming to you saying that this is what I read. So Chad was asking me about intermittent fasting, about keto. How do you answer those questions?
I just clear the science behind it. So a lot of people ask me about intermittent fasting, and I was like, it's amazing if you can do it. If it works for you, it works for you. If it doesn't, you don't need to force it. But then I educate them what intermittent fasting is about and what are the benefits of it. And there are proven benefits attached to it. So there is nothing wrong in doing it if you can do it. But the keyword is it should work for you.
Right. So it has to be something that you try.
Yes.
Yeah.
so there's something called as information dump. Okay? So whenever somebody comes to you, they'll come with this keyword, intermittent fasting or keto or green tea or something like that, which is very popular, and they want to know all about it.
Yeah.
So the important part is information dump करने से पहले they can go to a website, they can Google the term, but they have come to you. Why have they come to you? Because they want to know how does that term, how does doing that thing affect them, or how does that product affect them. So I always take this approach that I ask them, what are your goals? Let's remind yourself, why do you want, where have you heard this, and how does it relate to your actual goals, and what are you doing right now, and how is it different? So all these questions, and then eventually after all these questions they realize, oh, I don't need this, or maybe they want to try it. So they could be, it could be any thing. And so
sorry,
giving them information outright, saying that, oh, okay, this is the science, this is what happens, this is it. So they are again confused, and they'll go and try something else, and then they'll believe that they are a failure.
Yeah, but no, it's a tricky thing, because if somebody is asking you about a particular diet, if somebody wants to know, then ethically, I'm thinking about it as a doctor. If somebody comes to me and asks me about brain cancer, just because they have headache, if they ask me about brain cancer, I do need to explain it a little bit to tell them why they don't have brain cancer. Because if I just tell them that you don't, that is what will lead to trouble, because then they will not be convinced. They will go back, they will read other stuff, and so
that's because brain cancer has some symptoms, or the way it manifests, it's very common among people. But when it comes to a certain food, it's very different. Even in your own body, when you eat a food at say 16 years of age
Yeah.
and at 30 years of age, when you are very relaxed or when you are very stressed, it's going to react differently and your goals are going to be affected differently by that. It's not going to be as factual as cancer for somebody.
Right.
Hmm.
So
Right.
that's why personalization or asking them and relating it to their goals is very important.
Yep.
Hmm.
Yeah, true. But then
That's
I
what I
think this all brings us back to the discussion what we started out with. If you guys remember, we said what is a diet, right?
Yes.
So a diet should be something. It doesn't have to be like something that you do today and you stop like next day. A diet has to be something which you can see yourself doing as a way of life for life, okay, as which has to be sustainable, right? Only then that is what an actual diet is, not what other labels are, which is like intermittent fasting or keto and everything, right? And yes, I mean, I see no harm in explaining to people as in what is keto, what will actually happen, do you really need it? There are some, so all of most of these diets, if you look at it, so be it keto or be it intermittent fasting, a lot of these they like emerged as therapeutic diets.
Hmm.
So they were there, like as say as therapy for certain disease, and the one of the fallouts of that was because of a calorie deficit, people were losing weight. Most of these diet are for weight loss. None of them are for to like say for me to be cure diabetes or to get rid of PCOS. No, most of them are for weight loss, right?
Right.
Because obesity is the primary
Yeah.
like pandemic
Obesity is
that we have.
connected to everything else.
Yeah, to
PCOS.
everything. Yeah, but then so that's one thing, like like say we explain to the like say to the client as in what will happen or what does that actually entail, and do you think you want to be doing this for life? If it works for you, well and good, like say fine, let's like, because then at the end of the day you always have to give them a choice. It's their life, right? And I'm sure as a doctor you also face this, like I tell my clients all the time that if I could eat for you and it would impact your body, I would have. If I could work out for you, I would have, but you have to do it, right? So I'm just going to be there as a guidance, like Tasneem is rightly saying, and that's how we are going to kind of show you the way. The walk has to, you have to walk that path. We can't walk it for you.
Hmm.
And another thing which also works is like taking that person back to the time when they feel is when they were the most healthy. So if I'm talking to a 50-year-old who is now overweight, struggling with diabetes, hypertension, a gamut of lifestyle disorders, and they're like, no, I want to become what I was at 25 and I want to do it in 20, like in 3 months or whatever. So then the way of like say, then I take them back to like say, okay, tell me, what were you doing at 25?
What was
They're
your
like, I was
lifestyle
in
then?
college.
Yeah.
I was in college. My mom used to pack my tiffins. We used to always eat at home. I used to play basketball, football. I would eat only 2 meals in a day or only 3 meals in a day. I was not sitting in one place. And then I'm like, okay, now look at what you're doing now.
Yeah.
And then you tell me, So then that's how you try to bridge the gap. That's one of the techniques that I use. Yeah.
Amazing.
Interesting.
The idea of how all these diets, intermittent fasting or keto, even in the websites that describe them, they do talk about how these are for a while. None of them are advised for life. It's not that you do this forever. As far as I know, at least keto, I know that. Intermittent fasting, I don't know, some people do go on.
See,
It's an eating
intermittent
technique, yeah.
yeah, intermittent fasting is not a diet. It's a eating pattern.
Right.
Whereas keto is a diet, and when we talk about keto and compare it with other formats of eating, I think we all are following one or the other type of diet, if you wanted to put it under it.
Right.
Now, in the conventional way, we have a certain amount of carbs, which is more compared to proteins and fats.
Yeah.
Whereas in keto, you are having fats in majority and the carbs are minimal, right? So there are people who are following keto for life and they just love it. They just love it, and it's completely okay. But again, that comes back to the point that आपके लिए क्या काम कर रहा है?
What works for you? Yeah.
Yeah. So if somebody who has not tried any diet and is raised on the Indian meal system, for them, giving up carbs is not the easiest thing. At least,
But
is it?
yeah, but who's saying you have to give up carbs?
Okay. Yeah, I get that. Yeah, that's the whole point. So
That's the whole point. No, why are we labeling,
Yeah.
carbs as bad or fat as bad?
Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
no
So
food is
that
bad.
वही
You
हटाना
have to
चाहिए
strike
दिमाग
the
से.
balance. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
all about striking a balance. And like say, yes, if you want to lose weight, you do eat a certain way for a while, but then you don't want to continuously for life keep
Yeah.
on losing weight. You
Yeah,
will literally
exactly.
die.
There's more to. I mean, it's weight is so tricky sometimes because in the lockdown, a lot of us stopped eating outside, and we would just
And
eat.
people got healthier.
And
Yeah.
people got healthier. People lost weight without doing anything. Just, in fact, people thought that we would gain weight sitting at home. You're not running. You're not exercising. The gyms are closed, but then still you feel
Only
healthier.
Indian cricketers.
But I think that's the biggest misnomer here, thinking that people didn't do anything in lockdown. In
Right.
fact, they did a lot. They were at home,
झाड़ू पोछा कर.
right? There was a lot of incidental fitness that was happening.
That's true.
You didn't have half of the indulgence. चीज नहीं मिल रहा बिग बास्केट पे तो चीज कैसे खाओगे? है ना? So then you are based like you were getting only the staples,
Yeah.
literally the staples. You were getting and for days at end you were eating only the gawar and the brinjal and the palak that was available. जो चार चीजें मिल रही है वही खा लो, right?
There was a month
So
where the government banned ice creams.
yeah.
And I was so annoyed. Not that I'm addicted, but still. As
Even if it was available in the store, suddenly you were not going to go to buy that ice cream
Yeah.
because you were scared of getting COVID, right? So everyone did a lot in lockdown, and that's why they got healthy.
Amazing. So,
Yeah, go on, Tasneem.
Okay. So when we were talking about diet plans, different diet plans, and you said that everyone, Umesh said that everyone has a different diet that they have been following. So if you look at, so I work with a lot of athletes also. So even international athletes, athletes are from all countries, all kinds of climates, and all kinds of cultures. And would you agree that they are some of the fittest people in the world?
Yes.
They have mastered performance and everything. So if it were true that there is one best diet, people have been searching on Google for it. So if it were true, then how come we have all these athletes from different ethnicities and cultures and different diets that have been performing at the peak level of human performance?
It's a great point.
Yeah, there is no magic diet or something because we all are so different. Like even if amongst the four of us we're all Indians, we all are so different. So and it's like say genetics, your environment, your state of mind, how you perceive things, your fitness levels, exercise, everything plays a role.
So one beautiful thing about biology is that rather than fixing a particular kind of diet that this is better than the other, what is important is getting your body used to something, irrespective of
adaptability.
Adaptability, because the kind of adaptability your body is capable of is incredible.
Oh yeah.
I'd like to give one example. Sorry.
Yeah. Continue.
I'd like to give an example here. So people who say I'm addicted to sweets, okay, there are many people. So I was one of them earlier in my teenage. So I used to eat every day. I used to eat chocolates or one big packet of chocolate chip biscuits or something like that. Full day junk, vada paos, this and that. So then so it's been 10 years I've not eaten anything outside. So now my tongue is trained. Even if I eat a little bit of say sweet potato or something which has natural sweet taste like a dahi, fresh dahi or something, I feel it's sweet. The 16-year-old me the 13-year-old me wouldn't. She would have thought, oh my god, this is so bad tasting.
Where is the sugar?
Where's the sugar?
Damn.
So that happens. Adaptability happens.
Yeah, that's true, because if what you want is sweet stuff, actually if you stop eating sugar, the number of sweet things in the world will go up, because things that weren't sweet before will start tasting sweet later. Even chai, the first time I started having chai without sugar, I hated it. And now it's been 2 years and I still hate it. So I have chai with sugar. It's just a random thing.
I was
Yay.
like leading to something.
No, there was no.
No, it's not just about one thing. To train your taste buds, you need to completely change these things. It's not chai mein sugar to everyone can, even I can tolerate, or everyone can tolerate. But other things like highly processed engineered foods, which have these hyper palatable quality about them, you won't like them after you have trained your tongue to eat natural foods. That's what happens with most of the people I've worked with.
And that also happens, like, say when you get healthier, or when you are really being more aware of what you're eating, when, how, all of the questions that we've discussed over the past 1 hour. But like say when you are more aware, or you get more fit, or when you're working out, you'll automatically realize that how that food is, which is hyper palatable, like Tasneem mentioned. How is it actually making you feel? You say, for example, like say a ghee wala biryani and everything, which you would have craved, and like say if that one day after a month you go and I want to have, like say, a cheat day, which is a very favorite thing for people. You go and eat it, and I always tell people, like, okay, fine, go, let's do this. Let's see if you can go and eat that biryani that you used to earlier, right? And see if how it makes you feel. And when you come back feeling very sluggish and feeling very lethargic and getting acidity and everything, you don't want to go back to it. Right? That's the whole one of the tenets of mindful eating, that, like, because we are not going to stop you from eating foods that you want, because all food is good, and if I'm going to stop you from something, then you're going to want to eat that more and more.
Can I ask about dark chocolate?
Yeah, you can have dark chocolate.
Good.
Yeah. Okay. You obviously have to
no
read
labeling,
the label.
good and bad.
No labeling. Oh yeah. Damn, this is
No
difficult.
labeling. Yeah,
So
and
it's very
also
difficult to unlearn that pattern.
Have a
of
spectrum.
labeling.
Have a spectrum. So if you were eating highly processed, very sugary or very unhealthy stuff that you know is not helping your goals, maybe do a little bit better.
Yeah.
One step ahead.
One step ahead, yeah.
So, and especially with indulgent foods, because people always come to us saying, like, that, oh, I am really craving a chocolate cake. Fair enough, you're craving a chocolate cake, eat it, but then stop when the craving stops. Because the craving is here at that of the taste. You're not hungry.
Yeah.
Nobody
wants to have the full cake. Actually, they
Nobody
wanted
wants
half
to.
the cake.
Or just 2 spoonfuls of that dessert or cheesecake that you really love is going to, like, if it's going to make you, if that satisfied your craving, 2 spoonfuls has already satisfied your craving, then stop there.
Okay.
That's all that it takes. Because we are not labeling good or bad.
Sid, a lot of people in the chat are saying that it's very vague advice. So maybe we should give something concrete.
Yeah, exactly. I was just thinking of consolidating it so far. The 2 things that I can really take home from this. One, you have to be mindful when you're eating. At what point are you done? So for me personally, that has been, I realized that sometimes you eat past it. And you are done after, say, 2 chapatis or whatever. But you will still go on and then your mind will justify. Acha, thoda sabji baki hai, rice baki, whatever. And then you will add more. And that desire to keep eating comes from a very different place in the brain. And you need to get over that. So you have to be mindful of the point where you're full and respect it. Respect that point. That is one. Second, don't label good and bad, but foods do lie on a spectrum of less towards your goal or more towards your goal.
Yeah, or even like, say, a traffic light system, like red light, yellow light, green light.
Oh, wow.
So all the foods that are not advertised about, all your produce, roti, sabzi, everything can come on the green light spectrum, and all the foods that are, you see billboards of everywhere are the red light ones.
So
that's it.
Yeah. Sid, so okay, these are general points, but then how are we different than Google? So everyone can search these general points on Google. So if somebody wants to start, so where can they start? So I have a 12-point summary.
Oh, lovely.
I can share it.
Good.
Yeah. So if you are somebody who is so confused and who has been listening to us for painfully for an hour maybe, or hopefully happily, then the first step, you are saying that I want to lose weight, or I want to be healthy, or whatever is your goal. First of all, find your why. Okay, that why do you want to pursue this goal, whether you want to lose weight or any other goal. So for this, there's an exercise called 5 whys exercise. So first you ask, why do I want to lose weight? Then you may say, I want to fit into this dress, or something like that. Then you ask, why is it important for me to fit into this dress? Then you'll say, it will make me feel good about myself, or something like that. Then you ask, why is it important? And then you go on. So finally you will come up with some reason, like it's related to your work, or your confidence, or how you present yourself socially, or how you look at yourself. So all these deeper reasons that can connect with your identity, or something which is not as shallow as weight loss, okay? Not just a number. So for me, basically, the reason I do my activities is because I'm a dietitian and I practice what I preach, and I like being healthy. I identify as this healthy person who wants to do things in a certain way and not eat this, or be lazy, or something like that. So that's my deeper reason. What's your deeper reason? Some of you might be aiming to be a better mother, or a better, or good at your sport, or something like that. So find that deeper reason by asking yourself why 5 times. And also there's a second thing you can do, which is you can imagine your future self. So maybe 5 years from now, who are you? If you are a healthy person, how does your life look like? What are you doing? What are you, how are you working out, or how are you living? So all these things that will help you connect that goal of weight loss, or fat loss, to your deeper goals. Okay. Then there's a second step, that now that you have listed your outcome goal, this is an outcome goal, right? You want to lose weight, or you want to lose fat, or a certain fat percentage. You have no control over this goal. This is just an outcome of your actions. So now you have to convert this outcome goal into action goals. So for example, you have a goal of losing weight. So when you convert it into action goals, it could look like you want to eat better consistently, eat better, action, exercise regularly, or sleep better consistently, or manage stress better consistently. So these are all actions. These are not outcomes. So these are your action goals. Then you convert them into a set of skills. Each action goal, you take each action goal and convert it into a set of skills. So you eat better consistently, that's your action goal. Now, what kind of skills are required to eat better consistently? So one of them could be, you want to develop your appetite awareness, like we discussed. That babies have their appetite awareness, and we want to develop that.
When are you not?
Or maybe another skill you want to work on is eat better quality foods, more whole foods consistently. So that's one of the skills that you need to achieve your action goal of eating better consistently. Now take each skill and convert it into a set of practices. Something you want to practice. So say you take the skill of appetite awareness, okay? And in appetite awareness, what do you want to do? That's the skill to stop when you are full and to eat only when you're hungry. So what can you do? What can you practice to achieve this skill? You can eat slowly. That's a practice that will help you develop appetite awareness. Or you can stop when you feel light or not full, or you can observe your daily eating habits. So that's they are some of the practices that you can do on a day-to-day basis, so that you develop the skill. And for each practice, you convert the practice into a set of daily action. Matlab, in simple language, jugaad. So aaj mujhe slowly khana hai. Eat slowly is this practice that you want to do. So how will you do it? maybe you keep your utensils down, maybe you take a deep breath, maybe you have this eating slowly competition with your family or something like that. Okay, fast eating का तो होता है ना competition,
सही
तो हम
बात है.
slowly क्यों नहीं कर सकते?
So cool.
So all these things. So you can, these are the various jugards that you can figure out for 1 or 2 weeks, and then finally you have your own bag of tricks that you can use for the skill. So पहले आउटकम गोल से एक्शन गोल से स्किल से प्रैक्टिस से डेली actions. Okay,
Lovely.
so this is the flow, and then how to do this, how to pick that one very small action. You ask yourself, what's the low hanging fruit? What am I confident of doing? On a scale of 0 to 10, what's a 9 for me? 9 or 10 for me? What can I do any day, every day? Like, ये तो मैं कर लेगा. Like मतलब एकदम
What are you
easy.
very confident about?
हाँ, no struggle at all, no chance of failure. You want to do something more, you can do it. लेकिन you start with this very, very small bit so that you feel, oh wow, I can do this. So Sid, in one of your videos, you have discussed how making your bed in the morning has this effect on everything
small
else.
Goals.
Yeah. So if you win at something small, then you automatically it increases and applies to all the other things that you do. And so once you do this one action daily and you develop it, and you're like, okay, now I'm bored, I have done this so many times, I've been consistent for so many days, then you add a second action on top of it. You continue practicing the first action, but you add a second one and you track that one, and then finally it will build, and finally you will reach your goal, the big goal that you were the weight loss goal or something bigger that you were talking about. So it doesn't have to be so intimidating, it doesn't have to be so big all at once. You can just break it down into these steps and do it. And if you don't know where you want to start, then obviously you need the help of a coach or somebody who can question you and know things, help you figure out that one action that you can start with and give you some accountability. Because if you do it alone, then maybe you don't care about it. So you need to have.
If you're doing it alone and you are struggling, if you are not happy, if you're not happy with where you are or what you are doing with it, then sure, you should take.
And you also need somebody to give you those. So, for example, I have a big bag of tricks from many clients, or Amrita has a big bag of tricks, or Umesh has a big bag of tricks. So you find somebody who is carrying this big bag of tricks, and if you don't know how to do that action, you can always ask them that, please share with me what other people have been doing, or you join a group where other people like you are eating slowly or doing something like that. So
very recently we've started a fitness corner on the Discord channel for the simple purpose of having these discussions where people can both come and ask questions, or the weirder reason was that I feel people need a safe space to brag. If they've done something good, if say they went for a run and they wanted to talk about, oh, I went for a 10-kilometer run, and they don't want to put it on Instagram, they don't want to do that.
Why not?
I mean, some people don't. They don't want to.
As in, of course, it's a choice, but they're like, I mean, I want to know, like, why.
Yeah, so this is sort of like a safe space where even if you've done, say, it's okay, you haven't worked out for a month, but today you got up and did 5 push-ups,
which is a fabulous thing.
It's an amazing thing. So just put it up there.
So people like to think of fitness or weight loss goals as something. So you imagine a graph, and it's always going like this, straight line. No, it's not like that. It's always.
Because you have life. I mean,
we're alive.
You have a life, and everyone is like, we're all humans at the end of the day. You could have an illness.
It's not failure. It's
emergency.
always.
I mean, I think the thing to be celebrated and to be understood is that it doesn't matter how many miles you run, but every day you're coming back to the starting line. So beautiful. Doing that every day is what is more important, like the consistency, because unless until you're going to do that one small thing every day, like the team has been saying, you are not going to be able to like see the like say exponential difference in you as a person, or see the growth as in in your health or in your fitness.
Yeah.
So just that one thing every day is also going to be amazing.
Yeah,
So
it's a very
yeah,
small thing, but we recently got a cook and she makes breakfast.
yeah.
And I've realized that my entire day's eating has improved
Mm.
because now my timings have been fixed.
Mm,
I
mm.
know that she comes and makes the meals, and so now I know that I have to eat at this particular time.
Time, yeah.
And knowing that makes me not want to eat anything before or after. Whereas if I didn't have a fixed time, since I'm not very sure when I'll have dinner, it doesn't seem very wrong to snack something at say 7:30 p.m. But I know that at 9:30 I'm having dinner, so then you don't. And
Yeah.
it's a very small thing, but I've realized that it's just like learning. It's just like all your other habits. You have a schedule, everything else falls into place.
You change your environment.
You change your
Exactly.
environment. Yeah.
Yeah.
We have to
You
be
get
our
a
own
tool.
enablers. Like say if we are going to keep those things around us, then we are going to, like, it's right in front of you. You're going to, like say, indulge in them. So I am always telling people, like, you want a cake, fair enough, eat a cake, but bake it. Don't keep it at
Bake it.
home.
Yeah.
So you-
Or
you
if you
can
want
s-
a bag of chips, walk to get
Yeah.
the bag of chips.
Who let the
say,
chips
or-
in?
You let the chips in. How?
So
So
pretty
that's
much like that, like
Also,
say, because we're not saying chips are bad.
Taslim, I like that quote, when busy eat like a toothless baby.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
one of the newest ideas that I've been practicing with people.
Yeah.
So how does a toothless baby eat? What do you give a toothless baby
Like
who has a
liquids,
weak
something
stomach?
very soft. Yeah.
Liquid, soft, and also very nutritious because uska stomach is only 200 milliliters.
Right.
So, and digestive power is weak. So you have to give something which is very easily digestible, does not require chewing, is well cooked and nutritious, and in small quantities it will give you a lot of satisfaction and nutrition.
Right.
So then if somebody is very busy, they can have this concept of micro meals where they can carry little things which are whole, nutritious,
Right.
filling, or doesn't require chewing. So they can have that.
Brilliant. The idea of knowing what you will order, it's just like shopping. If you go to a mall with a list, knowing this is what you want to buy and this is all you will buy, you will invariably come out with more money in your account than चलो मॉल जाते हैं, देखते हैं क्या करना है.
True.
No, but I think it would, to flip that, instead of going to the mall to buy that one thing, go to that one shop where you have
Right.
just that one thing.
Right.
So then you are not walking into, say, a superstore trying to buy a bag of, like say, onions and coming out with everything but that.
I think the malls are
Yeah.
designed for that.
So
Yes, exactly.
So then don't go to the mall, go to the local vendor and buy your 1 kg onion and come back. ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा क्या खरीदोगे? गवार.
Yeah, you have to be that sensible. You have to outsmart the system.
Yeah, that's what the system.
Lovely.
The malls also have this system of keeping things where they
Yeah,
want
the
to
aisles.
lure.
Yeah.
You have seen the
Yeah.
aisles where the things on the eye level
Higher levels
are the most processed. Or if you want to go to the fresh produce section, then you have to walk through those
lot.
lanes of
Yes.
All
this
the
processed food, and everything is kept at the back. Whatever whole foods they have, they are kept at the back, and so you have to dig in and find
Yeah.
out.
Oh man.
So they make the environment very difficult.
Yeah.
But
So
thankfully in India we still have apna neighborhood bhaji wala
Sabzi
and
mandi.
everything. Yeah. So
yeah, the
I'm
farmers
actually
market.
glad. Yeah, not any, you have those hawkers coming and you have all of them. So thankfully in India doesn't happen as much unless until you are specifically shopping only at the grocery store, which is another thing which has changed post COVID, and I'm really glad about that. Now you're buying using the smart basket or something.
One incredible thing about this diet is that the whole idea of dieting is that because it's a habit, all habits feed into each other. So
Absolutely.
just like bad habits can make you spiral, even developing one good habit can get you out of the whole thing.
They snowball.
Yeah,
It
like your
snowballs.
breakfast.
Yeah.
Like the breakfast. So suddenly you are eating healthier, suddenly you are less depressed, suddenly you are feeling fitter, you're feeling more alert at work, and everything seems to change. And so
Because everything actually does change.
everything does change. So
Yeah.
it's worth it. It's worth putting in that effort to change your life for the better.
And I feel like if there's one takeaway that everyone should take from this is like, whatever changes you're making to your lifestyle or to your eating in particular, because we are talking about dieting,
Yeah.
like say, just look at yourself. Am I going to be able to do this for the next 20 years?
Yeah.
If the answer is yes, then start it. If the answer is no, then maybe I want to understand why I've come here in the first place. Like say why I want to do this. So then there could be a
Hopefully-
reaffirmation.
Yeah, hopefully this conversation has helped people understand. Umesh, I'd like to hear sort of like a parting message. What do you tell folks? How do you
I
give them
think
yeah.
I think Amrita and Tasneem both have covered a huge range which I wanted to cover, but which is amazing. Thank you so much. तो उसके अंडर हम क्या कर सकते हैं? I think the education about foods is necessary as well. Not a lot of people know what carbs, proteins, and fats are. Then we don't know what are the different types of carbs, and people think fruits are all healthy and they can eat them whenever they want and whatever quantities and they want. However, we want that, okay, we need to listen to our bodies and be mindful about what we eat, but then there are scientific facts, they remain the same. And the major issue with our Indian diet is protein deficiency and imbalance in carbs. So we eat way too much of carbs and way too less of protein. And I think people have to learn more about that, and it's more awareness and more education is needed in that side. And I think if anyone is listening to us and they want to do some sort of research about dieting, I think they should start with that, like knowing your food.
Knowing your
Yeah.
food, knowing what
Knowing-
you're eating.
Yeah, what you are eating. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like
and
that.
in fact, like say on my IGTV, I had done one video about how to read a nutrient label because a lot of people they don't even know how to read a nutrient label, so they just go by what is at the front of the packet, which is often misleading, and then they
Fat
would,
free.
just so fat free hai, to hum kha lenge. Usme, because it's not their fault.
No,
They
it's
have packaged it that way. That's how they are selling it to you. So understanding what you are really eating, or not like say understanding what goes in your food is very important. So another like so just to add on to Umesh thing is like another Michael Pollan quote, which is like my absolute favorite, is like, if it grew on a plant, eat it. If it was made in a plant, don't. So
Yeah, that's a good one.
which actually makes a lot of sense when you think of it.
Yeah, when you think of dieting, actually, if you break it down, there are just two things to understand: the what you are eating and who is
And why
eating.
you are-
So your own psychology and food.
Yeah. Why are you eating what you're eating?
Yeah, why are you eating what you're eating? So
Simple.
I think that's a lovely way of dividing this whole discussion on diet. We should talk about food, and that will be a very biochemical discussion. It'll be about nutrients, it'll be about constituents of different foods, and then there is psychology, and that goes all into behavior pattern. That is also a biochemical discussion, but at a different level, and it'll be about neurotransmitters and neural networks.
Yes.
Yeah.
But that
And
would be a
see,
very
so
interesting talk.
Food also, just like humans, is not it's not isolated. It's food has so many facets to it. It's emotional. It's utility. It's a need, like primary need. It's so many things. It's a memory. It's pleasure.
Yes.
So food by itself can be so many things, and I feel it deserves the respect that it commands.
Like how my
and the
grandmom used to
attention.
tell me, don't don't read a novel while eating food. Don't watch television while eating
Exactly.
food.
Yeah. And she was very right in saying that because she's taken so much effort to bring that food to you.
Right.
Appreciate it, respect it, enjoy it, relish it, savor it.
Also, Netflix will make you chew faster. You don't
Yeah.
realize it. You don't
Mindless eating.
mindless eating. You will pass that point of where you're full because you're distracted.
And the speed will go up depending upon what you are watching.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
You will chew faster.
Yeah.
And you will
If I'm
even
watching a
crave for
horror-
different foods depending on what you're watching.
God damn it. Okay, I feel like
But-
it's a
but-
nexus.
But Sid, I wanted to ask you a question which I received from my groups.
Bull.
It was about consistency and reward loop. So how important is it to get a reward regularly to stay consistent? And what does the neuroscience say about it?
Oh, so it's a very lopsided thing. When you get a reward for a particular action. So for example, if every day I get a chocolate at 4 p.m. And it's consistent, I know that I will get a chocolate at 4 p.m.
Okay.
I will get dopamine at 4, and that will keep going down every day because I know it's there.
Okay.
Even if it's something I want, it'll keep going down.
Okay.
My dopamine will actually shoot up a little before.
Okay.
It'll shoot up at 3:30 because I'm anticipating
Chocolate.
the
at
chocolate.
4.
So the anticipation is almost better than the chocolate itself,
Hmm.
which is very metaphorical for a lot of things. But this is how we deal with any pleasure. The anticipation is better than the thing itself. And it would be even better if half the times I don't get a chocolate.
Okay.
And I don't know which half.
Hmm.
So at 3:30, I'm anticipating that I
Yeah.
might get one.
Yeah.
And some days I get one.
Hmm.
And some days I don't. There's no chocolate today. Better luck tomorrow.
Okay.
Oh man, the next day at 3:30, I'll get an even better dopamine spike.
Okay.
So the thing is that your dopamine should not be based on the object.
Okay.
Because if it is, then this is what will happen. You will be counting on consistency, you'll be counting on the anticipation, and you'll be counting on the unpredictability. So in fact, you will go out of your way to make it unpredictable. Because you want to create that chaos, you want to create that uncertainty. I'm not sure if this will happen or not. So when it happens, wow, amazing. Your dopamine should come from being consistent.
Okay.
Not on what you're consistent about, which is a tricky thing. But you don't care what you're consistent about. I don't care that I'm going to the gym 8 a.m. The point is that I am being consistent, and that is my pleasure, not the gym. And somehow if you can make that jump, then you're in a better space.
I
But
think
that's
in
tricky.
one of your streams, I think Vidit or somebody mentioned that they maintain this calendar or something where they just
Yeah.
tick, and there's a streak that they are happy about. So that's what
Yeah.
gives them the dopamine.
We had
that
taken the
streak-
example of Jerry Seinfeld,
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
and he had that calendar, and I think we had made that example that every day he would have to write a joke. Doesn't matter, good joke, bad joke, doesn't matter, but he had to write a joke. And so after a while, it became that filling the calendar became the pleasure, not writing the joke, because you don't want to break that streak.
Yeah.
So
That's why I talked about small wins, that you doing that action, however imperfectly, you
Right.
do that one action every day. Doesn't matter whether it's done perfectly or not. It's always some feedback. It's not failure, and you feel good after doing it. I have done this for 8 days, for 10 days, for 2
Yeah.
months, for 4 months. So it's
and having it visual is so important. So suppose you had a perfect diet day, wherein your goals, your decisions, you were sticking to it. It doesn't matter. But you did it. Make it visual. Put it in front of you. Put a line, put a dot. make a calendar. Don't leave it in your head, because that visual feedback is very important to make you get dopamine on that consistency.
There are amazing apps for this, habit tracker apps, where they show you graphs and very colorful and amazing things that make you feel proud of yourself. They give you points. There is gamification also of habits. So you just have to tick that every day when you're doing it, and the app will give you such graphs and points and everything.
Amazing. So definitely that is a great take-home point for any habit making. In diet also, that if you can make it visual, make the feedback visual, and tell your friends and let them congratulate you. Find good friends who congratulate you for dieting, not tell you that अरे ये क्या कर रहा है.
Positive dieting maybe.
So this is just like you study for an exam and you study every day, but out of 100 you score 90 and the parent asks you 10 marks kahan hai? So that should not happen. Instead, the focus should be on the action. That roz padhai kiya, wah shabash beta. So
nice.
Like that.
Yeah, that is something I think we can all relate to at some point. Okay. Okay. Guys, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
This is so good. So good. One
This was
second.
fun.
Chat, how are you? How are you doing? I think everybody
I've been
was-
reading everything.
Yeah, they were really complimenting you, Tasneem. That
Oh,
you were
thank
that you were paying a lot of attention to chat, and that's very sweet of you. Upload highlights. Oh yeah, so this discussion definitely needs highlights. We will do that. And anatomy ho jai said, oh yeah, Tej, neuroscience of dieting will be a separate discussion. Today I wanted to just lay the base for it. मेरा भी doubts था, मुझे भी clarify करना था थोड़ी चीज़ें. So okay, अभी तो बहुत Discord की बात चल रही है. चलो Discord पे मिलते हैं. Discord में fitness room में मिलते हैं. So if you guys are on Discord, or if you would like to be part of that community where you can have conversations with people who are interested, then please join in. I'll send you the
Sure.
links.
Yeah, please send us links.
Yeah.
That would be great.
You are helping me do a lot of firsts, Sid.
Yeah.
This is my first YouTube live. Discord would be the first. The first time I would use Discord would be.
Yeah. So Discord, it's not that I've been very pro at it. I very recently joined it myself.
Yeah, I told you, you are my senior bud. So
Yeah.
2 months is 2 months is better than 1 week.
That's true. Fair enough. But yeah, I mean, it's the lockdown. What else do we do? We explore things online. So this was great though, because this is the sort of conversation that I've been wanting to have for a long time, and
Since September.
Since September, exactly. I was telling Tasneem that this idea of talking about food or starting a series on food has been there for a couple of months, and I'm glad that it finally happened. Thank you to both Amrita and Umesh for reaching out and being a part of this conversation. I really appreciate that.
Yeah, because you do fun stuff. It's interesting.
Yeah, thank you, Umesh and Amrita. Earlier, when I talked to Sid, it was like I'm going to be the one talking. So I was very stressed that, this usually Sid talks and he's the doctor and we all just listen and a nod and all those things.
Yeah.
But then when he told me that Amrita and Umesh would be joining, I was so happy.
Yeah.
It was really fun, yeah, Tasneem. We
Really
learned a
fun.
lot. I
Yeah.
learned a lot from you, and your
Me too.
It was fun. But Sid, we would love to be a part of your neuroscience of dieting session as well.
Yes.
For sure.
I personally want to know a lot about what all goes into the brain and what is happening with neurotransmitters
Yeah.
when it comes to food addictions and cravings and everything. That'd
Right.
be-
So after this discussion, I think that will be a great follow-up. That could be a good part 2. We can actually
And
go
if you
into
could
the
also
brain.
do something about habits, I think you already did something
I
on
did,
habits,
but then
right?
yeah, habits. I think
That
we can
was
never
just
talk
one
about
book.
enough. Yeah, that was just
Yeah,
one book.
that's
We haven't
true.
talked about habits overall.
Did you read Switch yet?
No,
Sid?
not yet.
Okay.
I will.
You did Atomic Habits, I think.
Yes,
right?
yes.
That's
So,
a great book. Yeah.
Yeah, it was, and a lot of those points did get covered again today, which was very interesting.
Yes.
All right, chat. I hope that you're all doing okay. कहाँ पे गए? Yes, we need a neuroscience of dieting. Jobin, I agree. A couple of new members have joined in. Thank you to both of you. Yeah, 1 second. I'll just find out the names. Who all joined? Abhinav, Shreyansh, thank you both of you. Welcome to memberships, and I will see you all soon. Have a wonderful week, and we'll meet very quickly. Sure.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank
everyone.
you.
Thank you, everyone.
Great to
Take
see
care.
you.
Bye. Bye. Bye, everyone. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.